Welcome to Tuesday Tips. My name is Pam Dunwald. I am one of your nurse advocates from Your Nurse Advocates Consulting. Welcome back for another Tuesday Tips. Hope everybody had a great holiday weekend. And we are going to, as we wrap up this month, talking about aging in place, I'm going to ask a question. What do you think is the biggest deal breaker when a loved one wishes to age in place? Out of all the things that we've talked about this month, what is the one thing that can make or break aging in place? There's a lot of obvious things, but that's what we're going to talk about today, and that is loneliness and isolation, and not having a community or a support group to support that aging loved one that is planning on staying in their home. Because one of the things is especially if you have a single widow or widower aging loved one that has had a spouse that they've lost, that it creates an automatic situation for loneliness and isolation. And I was just watching a program on TV, was one of the one of the morning shows. And they were talking about how even last year, loneliness and isolation was even um, mentioned as a top trend, not only with our aging loved ones, but many people feel lonely and isolated at work. Many people that work from home feel lonely and isolated as well. So this isn't a topic that just touches our seniors. It can touch all of us. So it is extremely important to have some kind of social connection and some kind of support. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to share with you what's coming up. Our next event that is coming up is going to be called Blueprint for Building a Care Team on a Budget. And what that is that we're going to walk you through a 30-day boot camp, and we are going to help you assemble a care team to help share the responsibility, share the load, and also address this loneliness and isolation risk that's kind of hanging out there. So we'll talk more about that as we go on. So when we're talking about community support, we're looking at, so say for example, you are an adult child living, halfway across, the United States from your loved one. And then we have some clients that are in that situation. So how do you make sure that we're addressing this? Or, it's important for them to stay connected to a community. So for example, are they affiliated with some kind of church? Hi, Mavis. I just see that Mavis has popped on. So thanks for the thumbs up. Do they belong to some kind of a religious or, church organization? A lot of times they have potlucks after church, or they have, card club or game night, or they have outings. I know our church, a lot of people just went to Branson, Missouri for a little outing. So that's one outlet for some of our aging adults. Another one is senior centers. A lot of senior centers have, senior exercises, chair yoga, cards, games, a lot of things. Catholic Charities is a great one. They've got a lot of support for both the caregivers as well as the aging adult. I know we've touched on this before. They actually have a lot of things for the aging adults to have support and to have a purpose. So they have all of these volunteer situations that are, whether it's serving at a soup kitchen, working in, or volunteering at a hospital gift shop, or mentoring whatever they've done in their past. Maybe they're mentoring someone, what they used to do for their occupation. So there's lots of things to do there. Again, looking at the community, there's Meals on Wheels. We've talked about this before. The Aging and Disability Resource Center, or your senior center, or your center of aging, whatever your county organization is to support your aging loved ones, has a lot of these resources as far as what's going on, what support groups are involved. Maybe you have an aging loved one with dementia, and you can attend the support group together with your aging loved one, and lots of other things that can go on. So look to agencies such as like Catholic Charities or other agencies. There are, other than senior centers, there are other groups. There is a Facebook group called, I believe it's Next Door, and that's kind of a neat thing. Nextdoor is a social media platform that only you can only be part of this group if you are within a certain geographical neighborhood. So it's not a platform for everybody that you know. It's only people in your neighborhood. So it's a really good opportunity for you to be able to not only know and get to know your neighbors, but if you're an age, if you're an adult child that's living out of town, be able to log in under your aging parents and be able to, connect with some of their neighbors. And so that's a good thing. So one of the things that we want, the reason why we are putting together this boot camp, this blueprint for building a care team on a budget, is because a lot of people that have caregiving responsibilities, especially with aging loved ones with dementia, they are shouldering a lot, and can be very difficult. It can be very frustrating. It can really wear on you. It's very difficult to have conversation with someone where 2 minutes later, if they forgot what you said, or they don't remember who you are, or they don't remember what conversation you had the day before. So that puts a lot of stress. And even if they don't have dementia, being responsible for your aging loved one is a lot. And you need to be able to have breaks. It's so important to have self-care. So what our blueprint our boot camp is for a blueprint for building a care team. We're going to go, I'm going to kind of give you a kind of behind the scenes. This is going to start mid-July. It's going to be a 30-day boot camp. We are not going to be, you don't have to worry. We are not going to be having Zooms and, reaching out every day of the week, but it's going to take that long for us to be able to really help you put this care team together in these 30 days. So that's what our goal is by the end of these 30 days, you've got a working care team, or you are pretty darn close, and you've got all the makings of your care team put together. So we're going to, Linda and I are going to participate, both of us, in this boot camp. And we're going to start off with kind of a caregiver challenge, kind of a self-awareness checklist. Where are you at, in your caregiving role? And there's no right or wrong answers. It's just going to help you determine what kind of help that you would like to have, or what people you would like on your support team or your care team. We're going to talk about the physical challenges of caregiving. We're going to talk about what your current support system looks like. And then we are going to get into kind of the nitty gritty. So how do you actually go about building a stronger support network? In our second training, we're going to talk about the needs. What does your aging loved one actually need? What kind of services do they need? Do you need somebody to physically help them get dressed, make them a meal, get them in the shower? Or do you need respite time? Do you need someone to be a companion, spend a couple of hours visiting with them, maybe playing a game, or, playing cards, or reading to them, or doing just, chit-chatting, just visiting? Is that the kind of help you need? Do you need meals? Do you need, meals brought in so many times per week? Or, maybe when Meals on Wheels aren't available, or sometimes they give you a menu for Meals on Wheels, and your loved one doesn't care for the meals. I mean, my mom was that way. She would reach out to the family and say, you know what, I've looked at the menu for Meals on Wheels, and, a couple of the days, a week, I really don't care what they have. Can you kids help me out with meals? And so fortunately, she's in a place in an area where, DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats are available. So, even some of us that live far away, we can just, arrange to have her meal delivered. They actually take a picture when they've delivered the meal, and they send you a text, and it really works out pretty slick. So we can get her anything that she wants, with a phone call. Same thing with groceries. So think about using technology. So does the person that you're going to help out, do they, are they tech savvy? So start, we're going to walk through, start thinking about what's going to help you most to help shoulder some of these responsibilities for caring for your aging loved ones. Then the third training, or what we're calling module 3, is going to talk about, bringing in, looking at that circle, bringing in, recruiting those team members. And a lot of it is going to be, we're going to help you work with, people that are are willing to volunteer to help you. And a lot of times we're afraid to ask, but people want to help, but they don't know what they can do to help. And sometimes they don't feel right because they don't necessarily know what kind of help you need. And so not only are we going to help you develop, that care team and recruiting team members, we're going to help you determine, what's their zone of genius, what can they exactly help with, and what they're uncomfortable with, because this is really important. If you have someone, coming over as a companion and they're visiting with your mom or your dad or an aging loved one, and they have to go to the bathroom and there's someone that may need help. Well, is this person going to be comfortable, helping them, get to the bathroom? So these are all things that we're going to help you work out. We're going to talk about in module 4, we're going to talk about roles and responsibilities. Okay. We're going to narrow down these zone of geniuses, who can do what, and where does each person fit in this whole puzzle of providing you some extra help and providing some of this cares. And then we're going to help you. We're going to have a Google Calendar that can be shared with everybody so that everybody can see what the schedule is. We're going to help you, facilitate this and organize this so that it will, develop to be this well-oiled machine, and so that you truly can get some respite. We're going to encourage you to add your self-care time, your time into the calendar so that, people know when you're going to need help. Module 5, we're going to talk about nurturing relationships. And what does that mean? Not only, nurturing relationships with the care team and your aging loved ones, because, that's part of, nurturing those relationships and making your aging loved one feel more comfortable, because that can be a challenge in the beginning when all of these new people, or maybe, they may have known them at one time, or they don't remember, or it's been a while. So, we're going to talk about that privacy piece where, people are coming into your home, and sometimes the people receiving care, sometimes, it's hard for them sometimes to have all these people that are in their home they're not used to having. So that's a challenge that we're going to talk about, and a barrier that some people are probably going to have to overcome. Module 6, and that leads right into our module 6. We're going to be talking about problem solving, conflict resolution. If there's any conflicts that come up, we're going to talk about, communication. How do you communicate with the team and also with your aging loved one? We're going to talk about best practices, listening, communication skills, and again, focusing on maintaining that shared goal of quality of care for that aging loved one. And then we're going to go into module 7, which is going to be sustaining the care team. Now that we're building this care team, how do you keep everybody together? How do you keep everybody from getting burned out? How do you just keep the wheel turning? And so part of that sustaining the care team is also going to discuss a plan B. And a plan B is going to be, plan B could mean, well, maybe we need to get some paid caregivers in here because, we still have some gaps that may need to be filled, and maybe is not of an expertise of any of the people that we've been able to assemble on our care team. We're going to give you a checklist on, hiring private caregivers, what to ask, what to look for, what about credentials. So we're going to talk about all of these things. How do you motivate the team? How do you guys stay committed? Sometimes people are going to have sad days, and maybe with your aging loved one. So how do you support each other? So we're going to talk about that. And then the last module is going to be taking care of yourself. So we're really going to talk about what is part of that self-care. So we're going to help you incorporate self-care routines that fit in with the demands of the role of the care team and caring for your aging loved one. We're going to help you if part of what you're burned out or you're afraid of being burned out is organizing all that. We're going to see if somebody in your care team in your circle is willing to maybe step up as a leader to help, maybe be that team leader and take charge of coordinating some of the things, maybe managing the calendar. So everybody's going to have a different scenario, and as every team, every aging loved one, every, main caregiver is going to have different needs, and every situation is going to be a little bit different. So throughout this 30-day boot camp, we're going to help facilitate you being able to run through everything that you need to do to set up this care team. And, finally, in the last module, we're going to reinforce, just the course's core learnings and lead you through a plan of action and help you recognize when maybe the plan needs to be changed, or as your healthcare needs or as needs change with your aging loved one. What do we have to do to tweak that? How can we be proactive in making sure that the team is still working, and that we don't have to either change some roles or responsibilities or add new team members as time goes on and their healthcare needs change. So this is kind of just a basic overview of what our boot camp is going to be all about. I'm going to add the link here to the comment here as far as what the link is going to be. The link is open. You can register, get your spot locked if you'd like. But also, again, the boot camp isn't going to start until July 13th. That's a Saturday morning is when we're going to kick off. And so a lot of things will be being implemented and put in place. So if you do want to sign up for the boot camp right away, that's great. We'll just keep you in the loop as things change. I will send, emails out regularly as different pieces and things come together for the boot camp. So that would be perfectly okay for you to do that. And I'm going to share. This is the link to on our screen, and that is going to get you registered for the boot camp. And with that being said, I'm just going to wrap up today's Tuesday tips. And thanks again for joining us. And if you weren't able to make it, we always record these and we will share the Tuesday tips video when it is available. So with that being said, hope everybody has a great rest of the day, and we'll talk soon. Take care.